Welcome back, everybody, to Gringos Liberados. Playoffs, or not the playoffs, the elimination phase, quote unquote, has begun. And, you know, last week just was fake, I guess. Last week was a lie. It was a collective fever dream. It has no bearing on what's gone on this time around, I suppose. And, you know, we just got done reevaluating the entire power structure that we thought we lived under, and now we've got to kind of put it back because we've had some pretty shocking results coming out of this one, fellas. It is me, Trajan with 4x4, and SuperBren, our community manager, joining us. Welcome, SuperBren. Welcome to the podcast. You've been on once or twice before, right?
No, this is I think this is my first time like properly on the podcast. Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
Welcome then. Okay. Well,
if I have been on one, it was ages ago.
Maybe.
I think when I first took up like running the Discord and like running community management, you guys like shouted me out like welcome to the team, but I don't think I've properly like appeared on the podcast.
Yeah, well, there we go. Here he is. You have at least appeared on the casting desk a handful of times as well. Always willing to step in when we need you. So much appreciated. But given that you've joined us, joined the LTA South, kind of in the similar boat to AC and Rev, like not quite as long-standing. Going into this split, given that we had Red upsetting, that we had VKS question marking, and now upsetting again, like. What is your feeling on this split and this kind of year of LTA South? What's your reaction?
Well, this year, just in general, I think League of Legends is in such like a healthy state from like a balance perspective. I have never been so invested in like the competitive side of the game because like it feels like, yes, there are picks that are like constantly good and there's always going to be a meta game, right, at that top level. But we are seeing like pretty consistently teams be able to find like new angles and new pocket picks, and especially with like Fearless, when you get to that game 4 and that game 5, like having a big champ pool matters, and like just overall the competitive integrity of the game has like never been higher, and so it's been a lot of fun to watch.
We're even getting support MVPs semi-regularly now in multiple leagues. Like that's how you know they finally balanced League of Legends, because we can actually get support MVPs. But it does feel like every role can carry. There's multiple styles available in every role. Maybe jungle has started to tighten up too much as of late. It felt like not too long ago we had a lot more like AP options, and you could carry and you could bridge. But now we're just doing like Xin, Wukong, Trundle.
Just you wait, man.
Xin, Wukong, Trundle.
I think,
yeah.
I think when we did see a Zyra this weekend, right?
We did. Karaoke, bless him. Yeah.
I think when and they won, so yay. But I think the jungle Nautilus might be fake, right? That's what everyone was like. Oh my god, we're back, right? But yeah, let's see. I mean, I was a big because I took a break from playing kind of 20 basically when I was an undergrad, so 20 like 15 to 18 more or less. And when I left, Nautilus was still a jungler. When I came back, my friends were like, no. You can't be doing that anymore.
You're a support role now. I think it was like the year after that he was a mid laner. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Do and B was like, actually watch this.
Hold this, yeah. But I mean, because VKS were banning, they were trying to like predict the Nautilus jungle by the look of it, because there was a Nautilus locked in for Furia in game 1 or 2, I think, and then they were still banning supports. They were not sure if Furia was about to cook on stage for a second. So it's a threat. It's potentially been scrimmed by the look of it. And if anyone was going to do it, it probably would be Furia. They do have the wackiest pools, generally speaking, I think. So it's threatening, but we've not seen it land just yet, I think. Certainly not in the LTA South. So we'll see how fake it is. But yeah, it feels like you can while maybe the individual champions being played have now been quite similar for quite a while with only a couple of new additions, it does feel like at least there's plenty of options in each role. And, maybe we're time do a bigger shift in a patch or two. And we are coming to the end of a split, right? Well, they'll probably do a bit of a shake up between split 2 and 3, as in like the ranked split 2 and 3 that they did a big shift for. But I think it's kind of carried us very nicely through to the end of the second split, where it doesn't feel like the game has gotten stale. Feels like maybe another month or so, and maybe we would, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we're gonna come to the end of the summer split very nicely, and then have a shake up for Worlds, and it's gonna be good. So yeah, props to the entire balanced team of League of Legends, I suppose.
Yeah, no, it's been legitimately really really fun. And I again, I think we got to give a shout out to Fearless, because there's that. I'm famously not a cynic, but if I was a cynic, what I would say is I don't think we would be saying as positive things about the state of competitive if not for Fearless.
No.
Right?
Nope.
There is sort of that placebo sort of thing of like, if we didn't have Fearless to be like, hey, there's way more viable shit. Right? There isn't just kind of, one or two, which also, like, kind of tying back to something meaningless, is why Worlds 2022 was as insane as it was. We had no Fearless and we had 100 champions pick ban in Worlds.
That was crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I still can't believe that's true.
That cannot be allowed. Like,
that was peak. That was so peak.
Yeah.
But anyway, and so Fearless has been, again, just a rousing success. And, the jungle pool is getting shaken up a little bit, right? We're seeing, AP jungles and all that stuff. No, but it's really, really fun. And it has been a shot in the arm to competitive. So, hats off.
Right. Now, let's get into the matches. We only had two best of fives. And,
but the emotional baggage around those best of fives, right? It was a 3-0 and a 3-1. It felt like 4 best of fives.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
We were going through it. We were going through it this weekend, and nobody was going through it harder than FURIA, than our defending split tree champions, who got absolutely blasted by VKS. 3-0.
I was off site. I wasn't able to watch. I was doing something, but I just in the Discord, I checked, Twitter while I was, using the bathroom or whatever, and I saw that they threw it, and I put in the live transmission, like Slack, or not Slack, the Discord channel that we have. I was like, FURIA effing 3-0, like got 3-0'd by Cade, and RMC goes, yeah, I can't upload it to YouTube. We got to put it on our OnlyFans.
Yeah. Bro,
we'll peek behind the curtain there.
It was so ugly, but in a ways, it was representative of last week, because normally whoever got the lead won the game, and FURIA, I think they had a small lead in game 2 at one point, maybe like 20 minutes in or 30 minutes in. They had a couple of like one fights in that second game, but they had like a 2K lead at most, and that was like the biggest lead they had all day, which is crazy.
Yeah, I went through my GOL and like am looking at the games just to like retrospectively look at them. Only game 2 like went past 30 minutes, and it still ended up with like an 8K gold lead in VKS's favor by the end. Like, as much as I don't want to be like, oh, FURIA got blasted. What happened? They got blasted. What happened to FURIA, guys? It's been 1 week, and I'm doubting my goats already. What's happening,
dude?
Like, it's the games ended very quickly. VKS was ending games the way FURIA was ending games in the past, where they get a lead and they're like, we can just run it down. Like, you can't stop us now. You actually have nothing to offer. And it was just true. Like, Gigo had absolutely no purchase against Boal. This was like my biggest kind of pivoting point in this matchup last week, when it's like, well, if they're going to overcome FURIA, they need to sort out top. And top was sorted. Man, Boal was like chilling into Rumble. He was picking Camille and winning lanes. Like, we were bowling it up.
I think this was the best week of Boal's career.
Oh, for
I think
sure.
Literally ever since. Boal's stock right now is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
He's going to Houston. He's going to America to compete for a spot. Like, what are we doing?
Dude, I'm just like the summaries of all the players, just absolutely just insane across like consistency through all 3 games. Such a high level of play from VKS. Boal had 8 kills, 3 deaths, and 16 assists across like the full series for 8.0 KDA. I don't think Morteus died, right? I'm pretty sure Morteus went deathless like the entire series.
Yep. Insane. No, and Boal in that game, was it game 2 where he had the Mbessa? Yeah. And that game was kind of, that was the most kind of, I think that was the really back.
That was
I'm kind of scrubbing through here.
Yeah, that was like the most iffy one, like where FURIA
that was most back and forth. Yeah, and then like there was that fight around the game winning fight where there was an engage in the kind of the north quadrant of the jungle, and then Boal just teleports behind you onto IU and just won the fight.
Literally, like multiple times. I think there were 2 separate instances where Boal like had a game-winning effect on a team fight, and he won his team the game first, and then they managed to throw it again, and then he won them again in another 5v5, and then they actually walked into the Nexus. Like, Boal was electric on Saturday. It was absolutely electric, which is wonderful to see, because if the Boal cap is off, that's the last remaining cap. Miryu's already godlike. We know DeSamus can do it, and Morteus has been getting better every day for the whole year, and he's still getting better. Like, brother, this is huge for VKS.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way about, like, Morteus Trimby. I feel like if you tune into the streams and you see me in chat, I'm like Pro Delta's biggest supporter. I'm like the number one Pro Delta fan. And so I was like so mad in the offseason. I'm like, why? Who's this Trimby guy? Oh, he won LEC, whatever.
Yeah. If it wasn't CL, I would have been way more nervous. And in split one, I was really nervous because to kind of your point, SuperBren, it had big, like, this dude is just washed kind of, coming in here. But again, you got Smiley to come in here and be a rousing success, right? So the CL roller coaster is fascinating, right? Because every time
it's an experience.
Like, he keeps building up credit in the bank and then spending it at a precipitous rate. And just when he's about to run out of money in the bank, he just he cashes out on some insane 10-leg parlay, or ACA, as they say, across the pond, right?
He's just like, we're gonna 3-0 today for absolutely no reason at all. And
no,
then they just
like, that's what I was with the Trimby, like, the point about that is, like, I believe in it now. No, he looks so, like, he looks like he's gelled with that team finally, and they look good, like, as a unit, as a whole, like, 5-man roster. They look like consistently good.
That game 3 thresh
and to
so sick.
And to put a little kind of point on that, this was like Scrim Cade. That was like the scuttlebutt, was that no, Cade is blasting everyone in scrims. And of course, scrims mean nothing if you can't translate it to the stage. But there was always that, in the back of your mind, which I think for Cade fans might have made it even more frustrating, of like, no, we are way better than this. Why are we going out here and just like laying an egg like we did in the regular season? And Scrim Cade finally showed up, and I mean, good God, right? I mean, and so Cade are qualified to top 3 to go to Houston. FURIA or Pain are qualified to top 3. So now you have 6 teams are going to mud wrestle for 1 spot. And that brings me so much joy. Lev, Isurus, Loud, Fluxu, Red, Cade. One of those teams will be going to FURIA. Yeah. One of those teams will be going to Houston. The rest will be very, very sad.
That's crazy, man. That is so crazy.
So insane.
So like
so sick.
So and this was coming off the scrim scuttlebutt, and then the hot backstage video drama for VKS coming into this one of like Trimby and DeSamus have fallen out in the green room after the games, and they're arguing about this, and they're doing like edits over it, and they're putting it in black and white, and they're putting like reality TV music over it. Like, they were priming the whole league for the explosion. But I think RMC had said it at some point. I think he said it when we were between games on Saturday, that like they wouldn't have uploaded it if they weren't confident it was then going to turn good. Like, they probably wouldn't do a TL breaking point and just be like, look, we are horrible and we're horrible to our players. Isn't that cool? Like, they weren't going to do that unless they were confident that they'd be able to turn it around, and they turned it around as hard as you could possibly turn it around, which is just great. It's perfect to follow up that. So VKS, kind of no notes. Literally, everyone crushed it. You're sick. FURIA, what the heck was that?
Notes.
Some notes. Some notes, right? Surely some notes. I think for me, the main through line that came from last week, or kind of week before last into last week as well, is that Tutsz is still suffering pretty hard. Miryu has gapped him royally for 2 series in a row now, and that's a little worrying to me. He has to beat Kaze to qualify now. And if he's struggling against Miryu, I don't love the chances there for Tutsz. We need to get this mid lane sorted out, because it is not going right.
Yeah, and like on that, it just FURIA got away from their game plan pretty quickly. Like in game 1, it felt like immediately just off the bat, like what we expect out of a FURIA like game plan. Like, okay, Gigo's just gonna gap you in lane, and so we have like a free top side at any time. We can go, take grubs, and then like Tutsz is stable in the mid lane, so we can then rotate Gigo down to bot side and then take a dragon, and that's why they've been so dominant on dragons. Like they got dragons, they got some neutral objectives, but like Gigo was not just gapping you in lane, and Tutsz was not stable. And so all of a sudden, this game plan of like, we're just going to take every neutral objective and you guys can do whatever you want around the game, they just got absolutely outfought at every stage.
Yeah.
And there was no timeline where like, yeah, they like eke out a couple of games, but like we go to a game 5. It was like you said, for VKS, it was no notes, because like there was, I don't see in the 14 million futures of Doctor Strange or whatever from Infinity War. Not a single one of them did FURIA win. Like, just completely got away from everything that they were like known for and good at, and it's because almost like the Robo issue when Loud was super dominant, where if he doesn't carry the top side, what does the team do now?
Yeah,
they lose that X factor. Yeah, no, but I mean, again, this is not to take away from Cade, because I think that's where the brunt of the credit should go, but the drop off in terms of like, I mean, after FURIA did what they did last split, I mean, you could not have paid me to say on air with full chest they will get 3-0'd by literally anybody, not even Pain. Like, that was the most shocking thing, was just how like kind of on, I'm not going to say like on the back foot necessarily they look. I do think, right, the game 2 was close. Like, they had their moments, but they never had any sort of like real lead. And I just remember like a couple fights, like was it like the Jarvan game, where like in game 2 there were just a couple engages where Cade just played those fights really intelligently, right, with good like spacing and whatnot. But Tatu, I feel like he tried to. There were a couple plays on the Jarvan that stuck out to me where it felt like he was trying to play a little hero ball, or just was not on the same page as everybody else. And if you go in with an EQ Cataclysm on Jarvan, it's an incredibly powerful combo. It can win you games, but if you don't have the backup behind you, right? And I got to give credit to Boal as well, right? Because he kind of created that, like, look, we have to watch out for Boal, because if we clump up and Boal gets it behind us, we might just, all die. So, you can't really separate one from the other, but it was shocking to see FURIA look as discombobulated as they were.
Yeah, and for Tati's credit, the reason that FURIA got like vastly more objectives, it seems, except towers, they were like leading in objectives almost the entire series while getting gapped in every other aspect of the game. Tatu was picking up, it was like an 8-1 grub score. They were way up in dragons, despite the fact, at least in games 1 and 2, despite the fact that they weren't necessarily winning, though they were losing mid every single game, they were still up in dragons. Tatu was finding really smart times to steal objectives. He was playing like on the back time as a VKS really well, and FURIA were able to pick up a lot on the map, despite straight up losing, as you said, Bren, like getting hands checked almost everywhere. Like, they couldn't do the thing that FURIA normally does, but they were still able to get objectives. There's something to be said from that for Tatu, but ultimately, when you have to fight it out, you can't just get objectives and never fight. This isn't the LCK circa 8 years ago, Like, you just can't get away with that anymore, and VKS weren't going to let them get away with that. It was that was like the one thing that FURIA had going for them, was Tatu's got grubs every game. And like, that's cool, but you gotta do more than that. So like, I don't feel like the drafts were incompatible. I don't feel like that was necessarily like unplayable or anything. They just couldn't hold it together. Like,
no,
for the first
but I do
minutes.
think that Morteus has kind of unlocked something on kind of these scaling picks, right? And when you heard rumblings of like, oh, Sivir might be back, right? Jinx might be back, right? And then only kind of in game 3 did you see IE be like, okay, we're gonna go Aphelios Tomcatch, right? And then the Rise, and it's like, oh, we're back to whenever the last time these kind of team fights scaling 80 carry compositions were the soup du jour. But
Summer Split 2023, so much Jinx Lulu. If I see a Lulu come out again, I'm gonna be so mad.
And so it did kind of feel like Cade, they were a little kind of first to that. Right, I mean, Morteus on the Sivir I did not expect, right? But then they just went full, like that game 2 composition, right? That kind of won them the game, right? You've got it's just so easy to execute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Thresh. Oh god, League of Legends is better when Thresh is in the game, and I'll
so
take that
true,
to my grave.
Thresh is the coolest support in the game, probably.
He is the best. He's the best design champion in the game.
Yeah, definitely up there, I think. But like for Morteus, just being when you have Miryu, the entire early game can revolve around him because he demands it to be so. It gives Morteus so much room to play or room to scale and just quietly get through the lane without having any mishaps, which he seems like he's able to do at this point because there are characters like Jinx and Sivir, which are incredibly safe laners that have ways to play from range and you don't have to necessarily take any fight you don't want to. And because they're no longer losing mid lane or struggling and losing time in top lane, Morteus does not have to be dragged into anything he doesn't want to be in this setup. And once he gets there, he's legendary. Like, he's very, very good. He is a win-condition player. He's not a 2v2 stomper like Titan Curry or Ayu Jojo when they have the right setup, or, you know, Brunsey Frosty back in the day. But he is a late-game carry, and this form of VKS can enable him to be that. So he's chilling forever. And unless the meta goes back to, like, Lucian, MF, and Kalista or whatever, then maybe we'll have to see him, you know, scrap it out, and that I think is not necessarily his forte. But for now, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect for him.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you've got, like, it's step one is have an identity. Great. And then step, you know, kind of optional step two, which might take you over the top, is have an identity that not many other people are going to be kind of really leaning into. It just makes draft, especially in Fearless, so much easier, right? You can have a couple, like for lack of a better term, like set plays in draft that you can just go to if you are the first one on this wave. So I think that could be really scary kind of going forward if other teams just aren't really on that wave yet. And then, like you said, Morteus, you've got an AD carry that was, I mean, it feels like built in a lab to do exactly this.
Yeah. And I think roster changes have made it. We'll talk about this more with the next series with Pain and Red.
Mm-hmm.
Roster changes have been so much more impactful than I thought between splits 2 and 3. I thought everyone was kind of going to settle down and like wait to make their big changes between the years and like go into winter of 2026 with like all their massive changes. But Miryu has like seemingly unlocked this VKS team because, like you said, they're no longer losing mid. They're no longer having to turn all their attention to like saving the middle of their map. And it has unlocked the other players to like do stuff. And I think we'll talk about that with like Red a little bit, because I did not expect Red, even though they lost to Pain this week, I did not expect them to look as good as they do this split.
Miryu is shaping up to be like one of the most valuable acquisitions that Brazil into South America has ever seen in terms of like
100%.
one change going from split 1 nightmare to split 2 disappointment into split 3 top 2.
Split 3
at the
blink,
least, right?
Yeah, split 3 blink your eyes and all of a sudden they are in cross conference.
Yeah, three are the defending champs. Like from one guy. Like that is crazy. And we just don't normally see that kind of impact happen so quickly. So that is certainly exceptional. Let's talk a little bit about Pain and Red. Now, generally, I think that 404 certainly you and I, or was it AC and I? You and I?
I think no, you and I were like, nah, Pain's gonna do it. Surely Red can't keep this up.
We did not believe the Pain future that was presented, and that did end up becoming slightly vindicated here. It is a 3-1 for Pain, so not the 3-2 that at the very least I was wondering if we would get to, but I think it could well have gone that way. You know, Red certainly put up way more of a fight than FURIA did, and they did at least get one on the board. They got a pretty swift one on the board, in fact, in that second game. So, but Pain looks like, to be honest, it looked like they were just not present in that first Red series. They got completely swept out without getting their feet under them, and this time they look
exactly like FURIA did against Kate.
Yeah, exactly. And like Titan and Curry
like
were getting completely gapped by Rebel or Frosty, and that is illegal. That should not be happening. And
never
happened. That did not happen on Sunday. So I think that, I don't know if Pain just were not ready for like the instant haymaker that is Red, but they came back prepared, they came back solid, and they looked like Pain again. So just a brief blip, I think, for Pain, and they are still ending up qualifying pretty comfortably. So I don't think the Pain Zetches have to be too upset overall.
The massive difference in kill scores between the two series is so funny to look at. Because like it was like, wow, what a dominant performance from Morteus, and he was like 10-0 and like 14 across the series. And I'm like, how did Titan do 28 kills on this series?
Yeah. Yeah, he smells a lot of AD carries coming up behind him, and he's like, all right, let me just drop more kills than God right now, and then we'll all remember who I am real quick.
Let's remember exactly who the hell broke Pain's curse.
Yeah.
True.
So
yeah, no, I mean it was really it was simply remarkable. I didn't expect Red to kind of roll over and die, but this kind of again, and I want to give Red credit because I do think again like they were. I think even the most optimistic of Red fans, like if you gave them truth serum, I think they would tell you, yeah, we're going a little over our skis here. We're overperforming just a little bit, right? Like Kaze's the truth. I think he's gonna be really, really good for a while, but like again, especially into Pain, right? Because it's what I said in the podcast last week is Pain for all the times that they have just spectacularly fallen flat on their ass. Usually, if given a second chance within 7 to 10 business days, they bounce back pretty well. They don't just get absolutely like this version of Pain, the Titan version of Pain. They don't get absolutely lambasted twice in a row, right? They're going to put up a way bigger fight. And again, and let's not forget, even in Split 1, right? Pain, yes, give Asuras their flowers, but Pain, like they've looked good against 100 Thieves, right? There were a couple fights, and like the quad Yone, right? That Mondo, engage that he got that just essentially sealed the series. Even in Split 1, they didn't look that bad, right? And 100 Thieves were playing an absolute blinder. Don't know what the hell is going on over there nowadays, but back in Split 1, 100 Thieves were, they were the talk of the town. They were wonderful.
Split 1 was a different universe, man.
It literally has no
what a fever dream. What a fever dream.
That we see
our
today.
top teams are Leviathan and Asurus Estral.
Lamau, dude.
What is happening?
100 Thieves TL dominating the North.
Bro, there one's like bounced out the whole league, and the other one is looking like completely lost and can't close a game from a 10k lead or whatever. Like, it is
haters in shambles.
Oh, they actually are. But so in this series, I think that one of the reasons that we had to doubt Red in a long series against Pain is I was worried about how Fearless would affect the champion pools of some of these players who do have pockets, but I think against Pain, and if you're going deep into games 4 and 5 plus bans, I wondered if we would start to see some problems occur. And I fear that Kaze was playing Lucian mid in game 4. And nobody's playing Lucian mid right now, brother. And then Roma just picks Talia and is like, well, Talia has made it to game 4 and you've picked Lucian. This is the freest Talia game of all time. Like, I don't know what the thinking was here, but I feel like we did start to run out of good picks just a little bit. And I think they botched a draft or two for that reason.
I do not disagree. I think Red just we talked about with like VKS, like identifying a like structure or a like identity for your team. And while Red's pieces, even though they lost this year, they still want to talk about like they look so. I would not have expected them to even like hold a candle to Pain after their Split 2 performance. Mm-hmm. And so it looks like they have all the right pieces, but they've yet to kind of develop that identity as a team. And it really makes me wonder, like, what if Red just was committed to making changes earlier and we got to see this team like develop as a 5-man unit instead of just kind of shuffling the deck chairs for 2 splits and then finally going, okay, we'll blow it up. Okay, maybe.
At the very least, Split 2 could have been saved. They could have done this between Split 1 and 2. They had all these people. Like, you could have just
they literally had them just like across the hall.
Yeah. So we could have been doing this, at least a split earlier, and then who knows where we'd be. And they can still make it. Like, they have to scrap the other 5 teams, but and to be honest, they look better than all of them still on balance.
I kind of think so, right? Like if we're taking a snapshot in time right now.
After that week, they look like the 3rd best team still, because they did force. It was a well-fought 3-1. They win game 2.
And game 2 was awesome. Like, Kaze on Rise? Doing what he did there? What a game. What a game from the kid.
Exceptional.
Their snap decision to end that game, like where they were just like, oh wait, no, we win. We won this team fight. Now we just win the game.
Yeah,
was insane. I blinked and the game was over.
yeah. And
Adult League of Legends.
Game 3, where Kaze continues to be the only person who can be trusted to play TF on the globe right now. Like, he actually put on a really good TF game. Like, but again, we're dropping Kalista Renatas in Game 3 of a best of 5, and nobody's playing Kalista right now, man. Nobody. Where are the Siblings? Where are the Scalers? Rebello can surely do this. If he can't do this, that is a big problem. And like, there was some good Kalista moments. Like, it wasn't a useless game. The Kalista did not get completely shut out. But then the game gets later, and it's a Kalista, and it doesn't scale very well, man. And Titan's on Zaya, and he's triple killing. And you're like, well, maybe if we had a scaling champ, maybe we could be doing this. So
it's like the post game meetings just must be so awkward anytime after a Kalista loss, because everyone is sitting there like, you know what went wrong. I know what went wrong. They know what went wrong. Johnny Silver knows what went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, we did this again.
We did this to ourselves.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that certainly we maybe see some exposure of problems for Red if they can't expand those pools, or at least choose to go down a different path. They might be able to play these other things and just think this is better, which I don't necessarily agree, but I'm sure they've got better data than I do. So, and it's Pain, right? It's still Pain. You can have like your favorite best picks against Pain and still just lose because it's Pain. So we can't draw too many conclusions, but I dare say there's a lot of champs that Red are picking that nobody else is picking, and I don't think they all looked that good. So I feel like we did have some problems exposed there for Red. So we'll see if that carries on. I think for Pain, obviously doing Titan things is great. I'm glad that Karaoke was back on form, because he was having the year of his life and then got completely ranched by Red, and I was like, you can't lose like this to Doom, man. Karaoke, you cannot lose like this to Doom.
With the greatest of respect to my boy
Doom has not earned the right to do this to you yet, right? So
yeah.
I'm glad that he's back. And then actually, I think Romer as well had like a really big turnaround, because he was having a real quiet split 3. We were just not really seeing or hearing much from him, but he was really pivotal in that game, and against Kaze as well. So I think shout out to the mid jungle, particularly for Pain, that I think turned it around massively. And I'm just glad that we have that happening. So
yep, because then it's better for Titan, and a better Titan is a better Pain, and a better Pain is a better league.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Romer still has like a couple more steps to take before I'm like, oh yeah, I trust this guy to be.
Yeah,
he can be the guy if Titan can't be the guy, but he's getting close. He's looking better, and it's an improvement over Split 1, almost definitely.
Yeah,
so.
He started slow, improved a bit in Split 2, but then started backstepping at the end and was continuing to, I think, backstep a little bit in Split 3, but now this series has now we're back in progress. We're back moving forward again, so that's good to see. So pretty happy. Yeah, Pain and VKS looking very, very good. Moving on, let's take a quick check at Fantasy, which did get absolutely obliterated by this week, because everybody picked the teams that won last week because they looked way better. Almost everybody, I will say. Not everybody.
How dare you?
It was a little bit destructive. A lot of large gaps have been shredded. Lunar Day rocketing back onto the top 5 leaderboard. Rambling FC taken first by a few points. And Paradox joining as well. RMC as well. Of course, if anyone's going to benefit from a Pain turnaround, it's surely going to be RMC. Though he did have a lot of Furia players, so whoops on that one. But
I can't say I blame him.
Why wouldn't you?
I do question. I do question throwing, if you throw a bunch of weight onto Red and like bet the house on Red after one series.
Yeah.
Call the hotline.
Yeah.
But
like I kept my Red guys and was just like, I swapped Furia people in and then kept the Red ones. I was like, I can either invest in Pain players or Furia players, basically. And I think Furia's more likely. I thought Furia was more likely to high score and win than Pain was, but more fool me, I suppose. So back to the old drawing board. But now it's good, because now we all get to buy all of the cheap players, all of the losers down in the bottom half.
Yeah, true. This week is going to be like, you can't even wallet diff anymore, because 4x4 said it's like these teams are gonna be like mud wrestling for this final spot. It's gonna be like an absolute, I love the term rock fight in fantasy, of just like, you're just throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks this week, because there's the reads on any of these teams. I think both series this weekend are just, it could go 5 games either way. It could go a 3-0 either way. There's genuinely zero consistent way to tell at all this week.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the matchups. Let's get them up here. It is Loud, Fluxu, W7M, and this is Leviathan, Isurus Gaming. So Loud, Fluxu, I will say, I think the one future that I don't see happening is a 3-0 for Fluxu. I think that would be an ungodly collapse from Loud, which did start to get its act together with this new setup and start to show us some really cool stuff. They have had quite a long break. It's been a little while, so they've had a long time to cook some stuff up for Fearless. And this is, I don't really know how Fearless affects like any of these teams. I could get a sense of like, maybe Red has this problem, or VKS hasn't been using much off meta, so maybe that's a thing. These guys, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, they could pick anything.
Yeah. Like, it's gonna be really fun, and because it's against Fluxu, it'll probably work.
I would hope so. Fluxu once again has sadly settled into the team where like you should beat them. Everyone should beat them. Like the fact that what Leviathan did to them. Look,
it's so sad because like every time I talk about Fluxu, I'm like, no, guys, they could secretly, eventually, at some point, become good. And then another the potential is there, and then they're not, and then I'm sad.
And then another sealed envelope of papers slams onto your desk, and on the front it says in red stamped like Fluxu are frauds.
Yeah,
it's really foo, and then like every 7 games, so Delta is also there. It's not even foo, but it's mostly just foo.
Like. And it's like, I look at this matchup, bro, and it's just like, look at that. It's Curti Yampi versus Robo Griffin. It's not happening, man. It's not happening. It just isn't. I'm telling you. Like, Jewel, again, is fresh enough that maybe Fu has a resurgence and does some business in that lane. Maybe. And, Root and Redbird haven't had the best year so far. Redbird's Pike game aside. Marvin and Prods, like, Marvin maybe could do something, but again, I don't know if Prods is really looking that hot, but just the top side is so unplayable, dude. It's so unplayable.
Actually, that's wild. I don't even think every time I have to get reminded that Griffin is in the LTA South and he plays for Loud, and like that's just the thing we have to all accept now.
Yeah.
Great timeline we're living in.
It is. It really is.
And now I've got myself in a really tough situation because I feel like almost for like, I mean, tell me if you guys feel this. I feel like for the soul of the LTA South, FURIA has to be the third team because they were the ones that put everyone, especially in the North, on notice of like the South isn't just a joke. And so if FURIA failed to get top 3, again, if the 3 teams that go perform, nothing matters.
Well, who else failed to make top 2 in LTA North? The team that got frauded by Furia International, Cloud9.
Yeah, now Cloud9 are at the back of the wall.
SR, but they're both frauds, I guess. Like, whatever.
But if it's not, I mean, I don't know. On the one hand, it's like, okay, well, Red would be a great representative because it is all Brazilian and LATAM players, right? And I think their ceiling is really, really high. But again, like if it's not going to be Furia, I kind of want it to be Loud because of Griffin, right? I think that's gonna.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's gonna put some butts in seats, man. That is gonna sell some tickets.
Exactly. Yeah. Everyone wants to watch Griffin play. Like, how many people have we come like when it's a Loud series that are like, I'm from the LTA North. Is Griffin playing today? Like, all right, man.
Yeah, like we're gonna save the LTA North from the LTA South by just letting Griffin play in America for like a weekend, and that's all. That's the best we can do. Like,
play competitive matches in America for the first time.
You could go to LA and play some matches, but then we're having him back. All right, like
he's ours. You can't keep him.
Yeah, he's Loud dropped the bag, and that's the way it goes. So okay, so realistically, this is going to be a Loud series that we're expecting. Do we think that what we've seen from Loud is enough to sweep out Fluxu? Because Leviathan swept out Fluxu pretty conclusively. And I dare say we probably think better of Loud still than Lev. Do we think Fluxu can find a game somewhere in here, or is it going to be a quick one?
They might get one.
I'm gonna call it a loud 3-1 where Fluxu like finds a cheeky game 2 or game 3 off of like just like some like sneaky pick turns into like a catastrophic throw, and they kind of do the red thing like, oh, we can just end the game now. And that's how it goes.
Slash Griffin cooks too hard, or Root goes back to being invisible. Right? They haven't shown me enough to be like, oh, all those problems are completely behind them.
Exactly. I think Fluxu can find a game, and so I want to live in the timeline where they do. But I think it is equally likely, maybe more likely, that Loud just 3-0 them. But I think Fluxu can find a game. It is within the realm of possibility, and I want to live in that timeline.
So do I, to be honest. So I that timeline is less sad for Fluxu, for some of the players and stuff that I have a lot of time for there. But I also want Loud versus Red for the final spot, kinda.
God, that'd be so fun.
I want Loud to be on tip-top shape for that, which would require, if I'm going to get excited for that, I kind of want them to 3-0 Fluxu, so that I can be like, Loud's good, Loud's legit, they're not going to get tripped up by the worst team in the league, so they can go against Red, and then they can have they can have a rock fight, they can have like a proper sort of Godzilla versus King Kong moment.
Bloodbath.
Yes, well said, Trajan. Well, that is exactly what that series is going to be.
That's what I want now. But that leaves Furia in the dust as a side note. Which Furia have been my boys for a couple of years now, and I don't want. There still are, but like. That series
we only get 3 teams, and 2 teams have already qualified. This is exactly what 4x4 was talking about. We're like, we have to watch all these teams just bloody each other for one spot.
Yeah, because I'm not emotionally invested in VKS or Pain in the same way. So
I don't think
I want them to fight each other and they can both lose or whatever, and then we'll keep Loud. Like,
is there a timeline where they both lose?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's that is just that's like my pure emotional attachment speaking. Obviously, VKS and Pain look like they're gonna do a better job representing us right now. So on that level, go forth, Godspeed, and beat the heck out of Cloud9 and Shopify and FlyQuest. So. I mean, I'm 3-0 Loud. I think it's 3-0 Loud. I literally, like, just looking at it, I literally just think the topside gap is so massive that Fluxu can't win. Like, Robo's playing so well, and Griffin, even though he does get lost in the sauce in the game a little bit, that's against better teams who can keep the rest of his team properly under the thumb, and I don't think Fluxu can. And I think Griffin is going to be unleashed to do whatever he wants in that series, because the lanes are going to be so fine. So,
yeah, there's a universe where for Loud, right? Like, okay, you're finally starting to see the green shoots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, backs against the wall, lower bracket, and then you have what might be a glorified scrim, like where you just kind of go up against like a team where you can cook a little bit against, right? And Loud can really just be unleashed. And I think there's a universe where if they just beat the absolute dickens out of Fluxu, and they get like a confidence boost that could just springboard them right to Houston.
Yeah.
That's definitely a universe that exists.
Because that's Furia and Red. Do they get to choose who they play? Or because like they haven't been moved down into the bracket. If I just get the standings back up here. So like the bracket hasn't been pre-populated here, so it seems like maybe Red as the higher seed might get to choose their matchup, would be my guess.
Correct. I believe that the highest seeded team gets to choose their matchup, even in the lower bracket. That being
said, in the LTA North on Leaguepedia, the bracket is pre-filled.
Maybe they've already done some sort of selection draw show. Maybe they just haven't done it. Yeah, that's true. So we'll see how that works. Because like, unlikely that Red would choose Loud, because they definitely look like the strongest team out of the 4.
Yeah.
But they are in the habit of choosing really strong opponents for the bants. So like, maybe they'll just do it, and I'll settle for my Loud Red best of 5 somewhere in the bracket, even if it's not for the final spot. I'll take that, and then Furia can have the final spot, and I'll still be okay with that. So, okay, right, LEV-ISG. LEV turned their season around by demolishing the worst team in the league, and they looked really good, and they got a ton of points, and I was very vindicated. Now, is this enough for ISG? ISG is definitely, I would say, not the same as Fluxu.
No.
But
No,
are they
they're
that much
cut
better than
above.
Fluxu?
That's the $1 million question, right? I don't know. I think on current balance, I think they are better enough where they look like a competent team at times, right? They took that game off Red earlier.
Yeah.
You know, they made Red sweat a little bit. I think they have again they have it in them. They have shown me something to say that this is a team that could, you know, miracle run their way into top 3. Whereas Fluxu, I have absolutely zero faith. So I guess in that respect, they are that much better because they look like an actual team.
I don't think I have that much faith in them, to be honest. I don't think they could miracle it.
I don't have much faith in
Well,
either of these
I
teams.
think they could
but I
win
would
this
take-
match, but I don't think they could make it further than 1 win. I think this is the 1 win they could get.
Here's the question: Has anybody accidentally told House that this is playoffs
what
and not
split it's in?
elimination phase?
Well, so hopefully not
shoot.
yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully
He's still in the insane asylum room with like the padded walls.
He's
right?
in a,
Padded walls.
he's in a dopamine detox, and he's just.
It's
on
not
his own
playoffs. It's not playoffs, House. Don't worry.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there like in a straight jacket. It's not playoffs. It's not playoffs. It's not playoffs. And then they just wheel him out there. It's not playoffs. It's
Yeah.
not playoffs. It's not playoffs.
Because it was such a great series for him, man, against Fluxu. It was so good, and I just want to see this again. And this is into Leza, who has not looked great. Like, there's been a couple of good Victor games, and
He's had his
that's kind of it. Like, if I don't, so I think mid lane is not going to put pressure on House. Top lane as well, Zoan has not been great, and I mean, neither is Zothvi, to be fair. That's kind of a which Z named LLA top laner is going to run it down this game, you know. So we'll see. That one's kind of a toss up, but I don't know, man. At least Jose, I can probably give some credence against Scary. I think that Jose, of course, has still clearly been trying, and Scary was very good against Fluxu. Scary and House were a great mid jungle that series, but Jose is Jose. So
Yeah. And I
Limit
think
the
that will put them
influence.
over the top at the end of the day.
yeah.
Yeah. Give me Isurus 3. Screw it. LA going out with a bang. Isurus 3-2.
3-2. That's hype. It is hype that we get the LA showdown. I mean, it's hype to watch. It's
It
probably
sucks that
not
it's like a
not
round
as
one
fun
lower bracket team kill
for the
but,
LA fans.
yeah.
No, not so hype for them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for them it's just another.
but that's
it's really depressing.
if they'd played better, they could have gotten another chance in the bracket. You know what I mean? At least we got something. Because
They had split one.
Yeah, like I say, I don't think either of these teams makes it past the following match. After
That's
this.
probably true. If I had to predict that, that's what I would say.
So
I'm gonna take the Isurus 3-1 because I do agree. I feel like I swear I have casted so many Isurus games between this split and last. I think I've been on the call for like 98% of the Jose Dioto super carry games.
yeah.
So I believe in this guy. Like, I genuinely have some emotional attachment to him. I do think Zoan and Leza are their weak links. Like, is there solo lanes? But we know that, like, in the back of our minds, we know that Snaker can turn it on. Like, that guy actually can go crazy if given the opportunity, and I think he's going to find some of that spark this weekend. So I think 3-1. I think Leviathan will have a game where, like, just because of draft, they're able to, like, turbo gap mid or turbo gap top and, like, find their in that way. But I think overall Isurus is the stronger team.
We need to simultaneously exist in two universes where House doesn't know it's playoffs and Snaker does know it's playoffs, because playoffs Snaker was a different beast in Split 2. That was like
that guy's nuts.
He was so
crazy
sick.
glow up. But now went back to regular Split and he went right back to being absolutely hopeless. Like we've just not seen anything from the bot lane so far from Isurus almost entirely. But now it's playoffs, elimination phase. Let's get into gear now, because Seo and Toplop, I think they've actually looked decent. Seo has always been decent, but he's got to show it a little bit more, and I like what Toplop's been doing. So
yeah, if you're gonna show up and lay an egg, those guys will punish you.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think the solo lanes are an easier target on ISG, but I think there's a chance that if Snaker doesn't realize what day it is, then Seo and Toplop could actually give him the business, depending on what the draft is like. And Root, at the very least, Sorry, why am I talking about Sayo and Toplot playing? They're not playing these guys. Where are they? No, they are. No, I'm looking at the wrong match.
No, they are. Yeah.
So Sayo,
right.
sorry, Sayo does actually have decent range as well, and Snaker is this weird one where it feels like he doesn't have any range, as in like depth of pool, but suddenly like certain picks can completely pop off for him. The supportive style isn't super good right now. It's more about scalars.
Yeah.
And you need to, but like his Zeri was obviously amazing, like last playoffs. And there are some scalers like maybe now Sivir is back. There's potentially another pick that Snaker could actually do a bit more on, that we didn't have last split. So.
Waiting for the Snaker Yunara pentakill.
Yeah, I mean we saw the one Snaker Yunara game that was like perfectly cromulent and fine, but
perfectly cromulent.
If we could get a wee pentakill, that would certainly raise the spirits, I think, in the Isrus camp. So.
And let me the weekly Isurus relegation reminder: if they lose, they will have to sit on their hands until the promotion tournament. That will be their next match.
Yes,
that's so crazy.
And that is not going to be good, I don't think.
Nope.
So we will see if they can at least give us something.
There's some absolute demons coming.
I'm still going to predict Lev because I'm still a believer. I think they showed me enough against Fluxu for me to continue being a believer. I am particularly not engaged with this Isrus roster. I think the mid lane, not the top lane. I think the mid lane and I think the bot lane are gappable for Lev. So, but I mean, it really depends. Like. The top lane can go either way, and bot lane might not actually be a problem at all. It just depends who shows up. So, I will. Is it going to be a 3-2? Yeah, let's go 3-2 Lev. Let's go 3-2 Lev. I don't think Lev's clean enough to put 3 wins together in a row. Like, do I believe that? I don't think so. So, I think surely I just put some on the board, and yeah, like Jose certainly has the juice. So, I think it'll be 3-2 Lev. Was that 3-1 for you, 4x4 for Isrus?
I said 3-2, but
and then
just
Brad,
for fun.
I was 3-1 Isrus, yeah.
That's fair. So I think it's absolutely personally definitely reasonable to still believe in Isrus at this point, and I would still be sad to see Jose or not see Jose for 3 months or whatever it is, if he don't see him again. So let's see how that rounds out. Now, let's take a look at a couple of questions quickly before we wrap up here. First, from Luna Day, is another comparison prompt, which seems to be her favorite theme of the month. I have been watching the LCK recently, and their English casters love to talk about Pokemon, so can we get your Pokemon type comparison for all 8 teams?
I will say I kind of fell off Pokemon before fairy type became a thing, so any fairy knowers, can feel free to step in, but every other type I'm good.
4x4, here's what I'll tell you about fairy type, all right? Because I'm a super Pokemon nerd. Yeah. Fairy type is easily the best type in the game. Like, just completely gaps everything.
What does it like counter that like nothing else counters?
Offensively, it's nuts. It hits dragon, fighting, and dark all for super effective, which is fine, but it's not resisted by much. I think like only like fire and I want to say like steel are the only 2 types that resist fairy. Like it's super good at just hitting neutral. It gets a bunch of strong moves.
The dragon offensive niche, right, was one that you knew was going to be filled eventually, right? Because if it's just ice and dragon forever, and it's like, dragon's just the best. Yeah. And ice is just bud. Like one brick break.
Defensively,
and
it's like fine. Its weaknesses are steel, poison, and I think that's it. It's like weak to steel and poison, which is like whatever offensive types. And then it completely immune to dragon, and then it has a couple of like resistances. It's like fine defensively, but it's just like it offensively it doesn't interact with much, and the types it can hit for super effective are generally pretty good. Dark is a pretty good defensive typing. Fighting types are kind of like always relevant. Dragon types used to be like the super meta. And so because of that, like Fairy Steel, easily the best type combination in the game. You have the best offensive type and the best defensive type, and then you mash them together and you create a demon called Zacian.
Yeah. Are there any... So which... Because there are some Pokemon types that are weak to themselves, like Ghost, I think,
like Dragon,
right? And Dragon, right?
Ghost.
So,
Dragon,
which of these teams in CBLOL or in LTA South, sorry, is like its own worst enemy, I guess is my
that would be
is my through line
that's
here.
a great question.
Um,
Is it pain?
I kind of could be actually, because Ghost
I
is
think there's a
also
shot for
like
that.
is completely nullifies certain types, like ignoring normal and things. Like it does and fighting. I think it does.
I want to call pain actually dragon types. I'm gonna call because they are they're coming into this year. They were the reigning CPL champions. They're like the big dog,
and they are still weak
coming in. Everyone thinks dragon is super cool. They're super awesome, but they are super self-destructive. They resist, a bunch of the common like elemental types. Your normal game plans are generally not great against pain, but they can still win if you do it right.
Yeah.
But they will absolutely just blow themselves
up. They are their own worst enemy. So pain is dragon. I think that's a good one. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Does that mean we can make loud ice just because they're anti-pain, but they're also kind of bad? Like they're also very flimsy.
I'm willing to say that.
But they are the anti-pain silver bullet.
Yeah,
so
ice is a perfectly great offensive type, but it's just terrible defensively, and I think that makes so much sense. Loud can absolutely just run you over, but then they get lost in the sauce and hit by a rock move, and it's all Jover for them.
It is absolutely Jover.
I have a type comparison I think is going to be pretty clear. I think Fluxu is bug types.
I was going to say, what's like the worst type in the game?
It's either bug or ice, but I would generally lean towards bug. It's not very good, but there is always a like early game bug type that people think is gonna be super meta. Like guys, absolutely. Mega B drill, it could sweep.
And then you look up,
sweep.
And then you look up, and you're at the 8th gym, and you're like, why the hell do I have a Butterfree in my inventory?
So why do I have an actual insect
Get off
in my roster?
My team. Everyone, guys, Sizzlipede, dude, Centiscorch is gonna be so good in Gen, and then it's useless. It hits by a fucking rock move and it explodes. So that's my comp for Fluxu. Everyone there's always a little more you think you can get out of them, and then it just doesn't happen, and they're bad.
Yeah. I think isn't water kind of just like unexciting in comp?
Water's the most common type in the game. There is like 40% of the roster is like water.
Yeah.
There's like 400 water types.
Yeah.
So
we can't do pain because they have the biggest fan base, but we can't do pain because they're already dragon.
Is it Lev?
I mean, because like is water like particularly impactful? Like most things happen to be water, but does it like?
So from like a lot of my knowledge comes from VGC. Like a shout out Soph, by the way, at Worlds.
So
like
true,
Casting Worlds.
In my backyard up in Anaheim. Yeah, we were supposed to get lunch together today, but the scheduling didn't work out.
Water types, so like there's always usually like a good or at least a few good water types like hanging around the meta. It's a decent type defensively. It has some like strong coverage for like some strong types. Like ground is a really good offensive type to have around, so you usually want a water type to like deal with ground types. Water types.
We got the right third person on today.
Yeah, I was about to say this would be a way weaker segment if we didn't have Bren to actually.
It'd be fine, but there would be some. Yeah, this would not be as in. Like I know these comparisons are going to be rock solid.
Yeah.
Water types are generally pretty good, but I don't think they're ever like super stellar. Like other than like when Primal Kyogre was on the field and he was pretty strong, but even then he wasn't like the strongest restricted legendary. They're always pretty good, but never like the focal piece unless you're running like a full on rain team.
Okay, pitch Isurus because Jose is Primal Kyogre and there's nothing else that there's nothing else. And it's also a shark.
He comes in, he sets up the rain,
and then you've got a surf bot and a dive bot in your team.
It's also a shark, you know. That's I think,
and they're sharks, so it's perfect.
Exactly.
So, okay, Isurus can be water. So is Red Canid's fighting type?
Oh, that's a good one.
Isn't fighting type kind of flawed, but has like again some like very powerful offensive options
in the history matchups? Like
in the history of comp Pokemon, from what I understand, there's like some really like a lot of like OU and Uber like the Blazikens of the world, right? But
fighting types have had some like really busted mods.
Mhm.
Urshifu,
Mm.
both Urshifu Rapid Strike, which is fighting water, and Urshifu Single Strike, which is fighting dark, is just a menace to society. His signature move always crits, so it ignores like attack drops and stuff. And his signature ability is that he ignores protect, which is like the backbone of all competitive Pokemon. He's just like, oh, you protected, I don't care.
The
Fighting
signature
types
move always crits. That's what we got a center who is fighting type around.
fighting types are always fighting types are like big
thing.
explosive offenses.
Yeah,
That's like
they have one thing that they do really well.
It has the most weaknesses of any type, right? Like, it's the most.
No, that's I want to say grass or bug.
Grass is grass is pretty.
No,
bad, yeah,
not
probably.
bug. Grass has 5 weaknesses, which is just nuts. Grass is weak to fire, ice, poison, flying, and bug.
Damn.
Fighting, I think, is flying, psychic, and fairy, and that's like it.
Yeah. Sure.
Is it
okay.
red?
My other option was like, because I do think of like fighting as a very volatile type. It has moves like close combat, which is like just an FU amount of power to a single target, but you lower your defenses after you connect with it.
I'm always partial to flying jump kick as well. Just like
as like lots of big volatile stuff.
Yeah.
So I could see red as like fighting types.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
What is FURIA, man? It's hard to categorize FURIA as a league team, let alone a Pokemon type. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Because they're also
What
pretty
about...
exploitable.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
But they're also, like, really... Like, at times they look like the best macro team in the league. They look like the most cerebral team, but can also put their foot in their mouth, like, in the same game.
Wait, can I cheat?
Uh-huh. You can cheat a little bit, yeah.
And give a type combination instead of a single.
Yeah, that's
type.
fine. Yeah. There's a lot of
I see FURIA as ghost dark types. So if you don't know, Sableye, ghost and dark type, and Spiritomb, ghost and dark type. That type combination had no weaknesses. It just like literally no type could hit it super effectively, and so it was like very okay because none of the Pokemon that got it were particularly good. But like, so it's like, it seems like it's really good on paper. You're like, oh, this type of combination has no weaknesses. It should be great. And then they introduced Fairy type, which can hit it for super effective damage. And it's just never been like, it has the potential. Like if the right Pokemon was a Ghost Dark type, it would take over the game. But because it's so close, but then whenever you really think about it, like it doesn't have the right type, it doesn't have the right stats. It's underwhelming at the end of the day. Yeah. And that's how I feel about FURIA in this moment. I don't know if it's how I feel about them across like all of space and time, because man, was I so excited for them at MSI. They looked so good.
Yeah.
But right now I feel like they're just kind of okay at everything, but they're not wowing me in any way.
They definitely have struggled over the last, especially at least against VKS over the last 2 weeks. They have not looked like they're as dominant. So if you snapshot it, I think that's fair. Because again, they look like this. Oh, this team should just beat everybody. Right? This team has no weaknesses. And then it's like, then VKS got added. VKS became Fairy type, and now it's like, it's my one weakness that they just invented after the fact. That's not fair. That's fair. I think that's reasonable. I kind of want to make Leviathan flying type because it's just completely like featureless. Like I just like don't feel strongly about Leviathan at this point, where like they're definitely not worthless. Like
you just make them normal type. Don't interact with anything.
Yeah, just make them normal. Like they're just normal type. You know, they're not useless, but there's nothing. The potential is severely capped here. They're like I can't make them Zigzagoon because Zigzagoon's too useful, but like it's just like
it's
whatever.
Frittata, but
like
they have Runaway instead of Guts. They don't even have the good ability that lets them sweep.
They have Runaway.
Disaster. Yeah, Leviathan could be normal type, and that leaves. Does that leave any? Oh, VKS. Leaves the best team in the region, VKS. Like so.
Did we assign someone Fairy type?
We have not assigned a Fairy type now.
I guess they can be
purely
for
like
as the Furia
purely for
killer.
the internal lore of this exercise, right? if we're gonna make Furia Ghost dark and Cade just fisted him,
Yeah.
They do have. They have to. They have to be
they're also
fairies.
purple.
Yeah, again, you take a snapshot now, you just throw the whole thing out, make them fairy steel or something, and just like now they're just invincible, just the unbeatable Pokemon. So, yeah, I think
So
they're kind of
by
a
that
new-
logic, that does mean if we're gonna see VKS Pain, fairy type beats dragon type,
VKS will win.
guys. Are we making predictions right now that because of type matchups?
Now we have to like run the bracket based on Pokemon type advantage,
Based on their type
predict
effect.
the entire playoffs with type advantage.
and see where we get.
So VKS beats Pain because they're fairy type. Loud is what was Loud again? I don't remember. What
Ice type.
Oh, they were
That was
ice
type.
versus Fluxu's
Bug
Bug.
type.
Bug. So Loud wins because Ice beats Bug, right? Super effective against Bug.
They don't really interact at all. Ice is better offensively, and there's probably like some uber broken. They're
grass, I
like
think,
Chen Pao. They're like Ice Dark, but they're just really strong offensively. And then what?
Neutral against Bug.
Like I said, I think my comp for like a specific Pokemon for Fluxu is Mega Beedrill.
Yeah.
It's never been good. It will
Is-
never be good,
isn't
guys.
that
Mega
Bug flying?
Beedrill
Mega
is
Beedrill?
not good, but people keep telling me that Mega Beedrill is gonna take over, and it hasn't happened.
We're still waiting on that Mega Beedrill takeover. Lev being normal against ISG's water again is completely
Water.
neutral. They're
Yeah.
they
It's
have-
such a
and that's kind of
exactly how
fair.
we feel about that
We're
matchup.
expecting
Yeah.
this to just be like, well, you can both just do what you want, I guess. Like
Yeah, who
whoever
knows?
wins.
Yeah.
And so if we took the predictions that Loud advanced at least, then you've got Red who's fighting, which actually beats Ice, and I think that's fair. I think I would favor
I can
Red
see
against
that.
Loud.
Yeah.
And then Furia was Ghost Dark,
Dark.
which doesn't
Ghost
interact
Dark.
with Ice because they only lose to Fairy. So, and again, I would probably think that Furia would win that. So,
But that thing scares me.
but that thing scares me. It does. It does. Okay, so we'll see if the type advantage holds up in the next week. And we have the second, final second question from Lunar Day as well, which is, I've been hearing rumors that the cast, this isn't a question, this is just Lunar's weekly PM. I have been hearing that the cast would be adding a new award to the Split End Award show. Could you confirm the addition of the FNB brackets Failed Nationally in Brazil award that goes to the best player to miss cross-group play in LTA? I think that actually is quite a reasonable award, like not necessarily as like a year-end thing, because obviously they stop playing quite quickly, but potentially I think we can give a quick feeling on a best player who's not going to make it.
Yeah. Best player, and so we're
Bro.
going like they just don't have a shot to make it.
So who's not
Because
gonna
I-
which is gonna miss cross-group
You
play?
take out anyone on Pain and Cade.
You could so you
Yeah.
can
Because
reasonably
we know
pick-
they're both gonna make it, and
You
I
can-
think logically, like my brain doesn't want to say anyone on Red or FURIA, because I feel like those are the next two teams up to fight for that third slot.
Yeah, so you can
So-
by the letter use any of those players because not neither of them, they all can't go, but they both all could go, right? So like if you had like a next best
Yeah.
option, then you could also go for that.
I think I have to say Jose Diodo, because I don't think any of us
Probably
think
fair.
I don't think any of us think Asurus is like really got a shot to like. They could go on a crazy
They might not
Cinderella
make it
run.
to cross conference. They might not make it to LTA 2026.
No.
Yeah, and
They
for
might
that,
never
like,
see them again.
like, I feel like Jose Diodo is too good of a player to have this happen to him. He's so good. I watch him in the jungle. I'm like, this guy
Yeah.
is absolutely cracked. And then he's on Asurus, and that's that.
And that's the end of that is true. I think Jose is a really good shout. I
Robo,
think,
like 2025 Robo, dude,
2025 Robo specifically is
playing the
because-
best, most consistent League of Legends of his life, and on the worst team he's been on in
Yeah, all of a
years.
sudden the team's
Yeah.
not very good.
disaster. Like there's depending on how Red's lower bracket goes, the answer could end up being Kaze if he continues to gap everyone, but Red can't hold it together.
Could be.
Because he
Yeah.
still looks really good even in the losses generally, except for the Lucian game, but I feel like that's a pool issue that could be solved. But Kaze potentially, you then have if you think like we're trying to think about who like the actual best player on FURIA is, I think Tatu was the best player in that VKS series. I think Ayu was probably the second best player. He actually looked a lot better than he has done in the last few weeks. Gigo's probably on balance the best performing player over the year. Like most FURIA members could also be a reasonable shout.
Yeah.
I think I would take Kaze because I do have this creeping feeling that Red's not going to make it. And I think Kaze is probably would be the saddest, sitting on the same team as FNB as well. So we will continue seeing very exciting mechanical lane dominant Brazilian players or South American players just not make it. Be trapped on Red in 4th or 5th and just never
trapped on Red.
Never get to international play ever. So, oh dear. Maybe Kaze will finally give FNB his first semi-international appearance. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it to I'll give my version to 2025 Robo specifically.
Yeah, I think that is justified for sure.
Because this is going to get lost to time. Like his reputation is always going to be the same as it is because people are just going to like not even like flaming. People are like intentionally forgetting. But this split will be lost to time.
Yeah,
this year we lost to time for Robo unless he makes it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, that's going to wrap us up. Thank you, gents, for joining. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll be back on LTA South on Twitch at the usual time, Saturday and Sunday for the losers bracket rounds, the losers of which will be eliminated from the elimination phase, and we will not see them again for a whole heck of time until we come to promotion series later on in the year. So feel free, thank you as always. Please, thank you for watching, everybody. Feel free to drop us a follow or subscription on the Twitch chat if you like the content and the story that we do. You can follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at LTA South, and you can join our community Discord to submit questions, talk to us about the league, and generally get more involved in all things LTA South. With that, we will see you this weekend.